All right, so I have a new series of short letters, another exchange between Archbishop Vigano and a Italian priest, and they speak about the condition of the church using the metaphor of a business. Again, it's a metaphor, so remember, it's a useful metaphor because Vigano really tells you what he thinks Pope Francis is doing to the church in his use of this metaphor. So we're going to get into that. But first, I wanted to just remind you that I looked at my, analytics, and it seems that about half the people who watch my videos consistently aren't subscribed. So go ahead, and if you watch my videos, make sure you're subscribed and click that little notification bell. It does help things out here. And it's a useful thing to do, and it helps me out a lot. So make sure you do that. Also, if you have been subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed because, again, our lovely hosts periodically, do their, what I guess they think is their due diligence by cleaning out bot accounts and the like, and they sometimes unsubscribe regular human beings. I get emails all the time from people saying, hey, what's going on? I was just unsubscribed from your channel. I don't have the ability to unsubscribe people. So if that happened to you, make sure you click the subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way you find out when I put something up. Now, on to the letter from first the Italian priest and then Archbishop Vigano on Bergoglio as the liquidator. So first, the letter of Don Alfredo Maria Morselli to set up the response from Vigano. Ave Maria. I would like to better explain why I do not place all of the blame for the present crisis at the feet of Vatican II, while not denying its function as a detonator, which cannot do anything in itself without explosives. Marketing strategies are divided into push and pull strategies. That is, a company that is trying to sell a product can seek to create a need for it, and push something for which there is no real need. Or else it can, after investigating the market, understand that there is an ample pool of potential clients who feel the need for a certain product. The two strategies often work together. What is the commercial analysis of the situation prior to the council? The thermometer of a good part of the clergy and Catholic intelligentsia indicated moral corruption, tepidity, fear, pride, careerism, a desire to break away from the cross and come to terms with the world. The pot uncovered by Vigano had been boiling for a long time. St. Paul said that times would come in which men would be surrounded by teachers according to their own desires, teachers who would have support and make possible calling good evil, and vice versa. See 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. The teachers, according to the desires of the world, have understood that the moment has come to present themselves to the world and sell their product in a good market. What I'm saying is that if the market was not ready, the product would not have been launched. After the death of St. Pius X, men continued to sin. The battle against modernism was quickly forgotten. Modernism grew back to such an extent that Pius XII, Garrigou Lagrange, and Mariano Cordovani did not succeed in even scratching the surface of the Nouvelle Theologie that occupied all the university chairs. The stonecutters placed the most impure, blackmailable people in key positions, and the good, who in reality were not truly good, were just so many Don Abbondios. The tumor spread, metastasizes everywhere, and the most recent popes, Paul VI, St. John Paul II, Benedict XVI, could only administer palliatives. Some also criticized the aforementioned popes, but perhaps it was the best of our Eternal Father could do, or else he mysteriously allowed a providential evil of punishment to form, and in the meantime the test tube with an ad hoc in vitro pontiff was kept in the laboratories of the modernists. Now the patient is in hospice, hanging on the double thread of the non-prevalabund and the promises of Fatima, and also on the great quantity of blood in the third secret of Fatima. In Cordes Matris, Father Alfredo M. Morselli. And now we have the response of Archbishop Vigano. The Nativity of St. John the Baptist, the 24th of June, 2020. Dear and Reverend Father Morselli, I thank you for your email in which I see confirmed your supernatural vision of the events that afflict Holy Mother Church. I am in agreement with you on the fact that the Second Vatican Council cannot be considered as a sort of subject in itself, endowed within its own will. Authoritative studies had demonstrated that the preparatory schema prepared by the Holy Office were meant to confirm the image of a rock-solid church that, in reality, especially far from Rome, was showing signs of a dangerous breakdown. And if it was so simple to replace them with new schema that had been prepared in the cliques of German, French, Swiss, and Dutch innovators, evidently many members of the episcopate, with their court of self-styled theologians, what you identify with the most common marketing strategies and that you rightly see as having been realized in the council was in fact a dishonest operation, a scam carried out against the faithful and the clergy in order to increase business. The product and the corporate image were changed, promoting it with publicity campaigns and discounts. The warehouse leftovers were liquidated or sent to the pulping mill, but the Church of Christ is not a corporation. It has no commercial purposes, and its ministers are not managers. This sensational error, or rather this true and proper fraud, was conceived by people who, with this human and mercantile vision of spiritual things, demonstrated not only their own inadequacy but also their unworthiness for the role they held. And yet it was precisely that mentality that officially marked the rupture with tradition. Transforming the church into a corporation meant placing it into an absurd competition with competing sects and other religions, imposing an adaptation of the product to meet the alleged needs of the customers, and at the same time, also imposing the need to arouse in potential buyers the need for new alternative goods and services, which they did not even feel a need for, and thus we were given the communitarian emphasis of the liturgy, the do-it-yourself approach to Scripture, the throw-it-all-out approach to doctrine and morals, the new staff uniforms, etc. I believe that if we want to continue with the comparison that you have suggested, it cannot be denied that precisely in order to eliminate the presence of a product that does not have many competitors, it was necessary not only to make it less exclusive, but sooner or later to reach the point of absorbing the company that produces it by a more powerful and widespread one. Initially, the best product is kept as the first line for more demanding clientele. Then it is removed from production, and finally even the brand itself disappears. Proceeding along this slippery, unfortunate, and destructive path, we have finally arrived at the bankruptcy of the company, at the hands of its Argentinian liquidator, ready to deliver the Church of Mercy Company into the hands of the Novus Ordo Seclorum. Bergoglio is probably confident that in this new structure he will be given some sort of managerial role, if only out of recognition for the work he has accomplished. There is no one who cannot see that this commercial vision has nothing Catholic about it, above all since the Church belongs to Christ, who delegates her government to his vicars. Transforming the Church into what it is not and never can be takes shape as a very grave sin, and an unheard-of crime, both against God and against the flock that he has ordered to graze in very well-defined pastures, not to be dispersed in crevices and brambles. And if the ones responsible for this enormous ruin are the unfaithful administrators who falsified the statutes and balance sheets and defrauded the customers, they will have to be asked for an account, rede rationem vilicationis tua. Give an account of your management. See Luke chapter 16, verse 2. Cum benedictione, signed Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano.